You may have seen it or likely heard it this afternoon. It was an old B-17 bomber buzzing through the skies above Bakersfield.
Yeah, the crew on that aircraft welcomed Eyewitness News reporter Kyle Harvey aboard for a quick trip, and he's here now to tell us all about it. Kyle.
Well, Dave Rochelle, it's really difficult to oversell the experience, to be able to sit in the seats behind the guns where the people sat all those years ago who literally saved the world during World War II. It's a memory that I will never forget, and you all can make that memory too.
The B-17 bomber was called the Flying Fortress. Why is that? Guns, lots of them. This was a plane that could defend itself as it flew through unfriendly skies en route to a bombing target. Here's John Eads, the mechanic for this plane.
Every time the crews would say that they were getting hit from this area or that area, Mr. Boeing and Mr. Browning, the guy who invented the machine guns, would get together and say, well, we can throw another gun here. We can throw another gun there.
Nearly every man aboard the plane had one. All of their lives depended on it. But before you go believing what you see in the movies, the guns had limits. Shooters needed to conserve ammunition, even in the most intense of aerial firefights.
You heard the term the whole 9 yards?
Yeah.
That's where it came from. The length of the belt on the machine guns is 9 yards. That's about 201, 202 rounds.
And what was there to keep enemy fire out? The plane's fuselage is made of aluminum.
Not very thick at all.
But not much.
60 thousandths of an inch.
Of an inch between you and the enemy.
And the enemy's bullets.
When it came time for today's flight, we were able to move around the plane and get a feel for each position, whether that be the cockpit, the fiberglass nose out in front, the open air midsection where the radio equipment was housed, or the waist guns. The four engines are loud and the spaces cramped. A tiny catwalk no more than a few inches wide spans the length of the bomb bay, where 2 mock 500-pound bombs are stowed today. Our hosts aboard the aircraft reminded us that the crews in the 1940s that flew these planes, fired the guns, dropped the bombs, endured sub-zero temperatures at high altitude, and often died, were mostly teenagers, 18-year-olds that won the war. Of the 13,000 B-17s that were built during the war, only 4 or 5 are still flying regularly today. And our pilot, David Lyon, wants as many people as possible to get to see them.
We want especially the younger generation to come out and see a historical piece of aviation history and also a history of our country.
This B-17 will be available to the public on Sunday. Flights can be purchased and ground tours are free.
We don't have any do not touch signs in this airplane, like most museums where you can't handle objects that are in the museum. This one, you come out, put your hands on it, sit in the chairs, play with the guns, and don't worry about breaking anything.
The Flying Fortress will be available to the public on Sunday from 10 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon. You can book a paid flight by calling the number on your screen, 918-340-0243. And again, the ground tours are free to anyone. Donations are encouraged, however. Live in studio, Kyle Harvey, Eyewitness News.